In the aftermath of Tuesday's presidential debate, there's a lot to consider. As I said yesterday, first of all, we, the American people, need to rise up. We can't put all our eggs in one basket. As much as we would like President Trump to win, and I say that personally, again, we cannot rely on that, because even if he wins, he's going to be facing, in all likelihood, a Senate and a House of Representatives controlled by the Democrats, who will attempt to destroy this country in any event. We know that. We know what their plans are. They're socialists, they're communists, they're atheists, they're radical feminists, they're radicals from every race, color, and creed. And frankly, they're evil. That's the bottom line. So we need to rise up. And that's why in my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry, I give solutions on how we can affect peaceful and legal change through a new American revolution. As I said, it was Thomas Jefferson who predicted we would get to this point, and we have. But let's look at the forces that are supposed to be on our side, frankly, who are also working against us. And that's Fox News. And I write about that in my book. That's why Forget about the Scandal Industry. I'm speaking mostly to conservatives, libertarians, people of faith in that book. I know that the left probably won't believe what I write, nor will they take it seriously, nor will they care, other than to figure out, what our scheme is. And it's not a scheme. It's a blueprint to bring this country back to the vision of our founding fathers. But let's take Chris Wallace, for instance, the son of Mike Wallace, who was an ultra-leftist. He used to do CBS 60 Minutes. Mike Wallace, his son, Chris Wallace, is even more leftist than Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace came from a different generation. And there was one thing that stood out in that debate, and make no mistake about it, everybody's kind of pulling punches right now because they don't want to offend Fox, because they want to get their face on Fox. But you know what? I don't care about getting my face on Fox. I haven't been on there for a very long time because I've represented people who have been harmed by Fox, and I myself have been discriminated against because I say what I believe, and I'm a strong conservative, and I don't pull punches. I will say that Obama was half Muslim, and that influenced his hatred of Israel and Jews and others. I'll say that he created a race war, a divide. None of that stuff can you say on Fox News. You just can't say it. And that's why, in addition to the difficulties that I've had over the years, I'm not on Fox. But let's talk about Chris Wallace. There was one question in particular. It wasn't a question. It was loaded, which tells you where Fox News is coming from today, despite the fact that you have Hannity's, that you have Laura Ingram's, that you have Tucker Carlson's. As I said, they're exploitive. They take advantage, of that audience at night to boost advertising dollars, and they give false hope to the American people when, in fact, the American people need to know the truth. But Mike Wallace, I keep getting it confused, birds of a feather, father and son. Chris Wallace gave a loaded question about the Proud Boys, so-called hate group. And the loaded question is, why won't you condemn the white supremacists of Proud Boys? Why did you say there were good people on both sides in the matter that occurred in Charlottesville, Virginia, where there was violence? Well, clearly there are good people on both sides. Okay, that doesn't mean that everybody that's there is good or everybody that's bad. The president missed the opportunity to explain that. But to be called a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, as they did with the Proud Boys, and frankly, I don't know that much about them, so I'm not defending them, but I'm just saying is that I know about the Southern Poverty Law Center, and it is a hate group in and of itself. It's funded by George Soros. Conservative groups over the years have considered bringing a lawsuit against the Southern Poverty Law Center. I am ready to do that for people who want to sue them. I myself have been labeled Freedom Watch and Larry Klayman, hate groups and hate people. They are the haters, okay? They're ultra-leftist. They are socialist communists. They are atheists. They are a threat to this country. And in fact, to tell you where they come from, the FBI actually gives them credit in terms of their investigations and discriminating and investigating people. It's unbelievable. They buried their way in there with their money. They themselves have issues. You can do a Google search in terms of the way they conduct themselves. But for Chris Wallace to use the Southern Poverty Law Center as a way to smear the Proud Boys, and from what I understand from other people, they're not white supremacists. They believe in protecting all races, including white people, and I do too. I think we all are to be treated equal. They are opposing the violence of the ultra-left. Now, I don't vouch for everything any group does. I have no association with them. I don't know much of anything about them. I just know what people have told me. But that was a loaded question by Chris Wallace, and he painted the president as a racist. Clearly, the president is not a racist. And then he painted the president as anti-Semitic. The president comes from New York City. The president has his daughter who converted to Judaism. He has grandchildren who are Jewish. The president is the biggest friend of the Jewish people in the history of this country. He moved the embassy in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He has allowed the Israelis to do what they need to do. And he's taken other actions. He's creating peace in the Middle East, and I give him credit for that. He's not an anti-Semite. The left are anti-Semites. And I'll tell you who are the biggest anti-Semites. People on the Jewish left. You know I'm a Jewish Christian. But the Jewish left is vile. They want to destroy the state of Israel. Again, you can Google it. They're trying to take down the prime minister of Israel, but it's not just that. They want to hand the country over to the Palestinians that will create a second Holocaust. And they're supportive of the Palestinians in Gaza and elsewhere. They're supportive of Ilham Omar and of Rashida Tlaib and people like that in the US Congress. The Jewish left is the biggest threat to the Jewish people. And I might say this, is that of all the articles that have been written about me over the years, it's always the Jewish left that takes the most virulent anti-claimant, anti-freedom watch or judicial watch stance. They hate my guts. They hate me because you're not supposed to be conservative if you are Jewish. And I am proudly Jewish. I'm a Zionist. And you're not supposed to believe in Jesus Christ, which I do. I'm Messianic. They resent that. So I'll tell you something. I don't pull punches here. You know, I go up against everybody, whether it's radical Muslims or radical other groups. But I'll tell you something. The Jewish left is just as bad as the radical Muslims. The two of them are allies. And they opposed Trump when he wanted to have a travel ban from terrorist countries in the Middle East. So this is Mike Wallace. By the way, Mike Wallace and Chris Wallace, his son on Fox News, are both of the Jewish left. This is not anti-Semitic. I'm just calling out people who claim to be Jewish. They're not even Jews, in my opinion. They're not, because Jewish people would respect other Jewish people, the 10 Commandments, but they don't. So consequently, this is Chris Wallace. This is the new face of Fox News. And it's why the president needs to be more circumspect on what he says, what he walks into, and what he does. But it's why the American people need to rise up, and they need to call out these people. Forget about the scandal industry. Forget about Fox News. Forget about Newsmax, which is run by Chris Ruddy, who donated $1 million to the Clinton Foundation. We need new right-wing media. And I thank Radio America for allowing me to tell the truth as I see it, because I'll call it like it is, and I'll call out even people who claim to be Jewish, just like me, but they're not. They're not. And consequently, for Chris Wallace to set the president up, to brand him as a racist, was one of the most despicable things that has been done in the media over several years. And it came from Fox News, and it's being used against Trump. And it's creating, frankly, a likelihood that the president will not win the next election and will have a total takeover, total socialist takeover, communist takeover of our government. That's my message for today. Support Freedom Watch. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. Sign up for our causes. See if you can join our class action. See if you qualify against the Chinese for the damages that have been caused. Our case is to protect the police. Go to americasheriff.org and support what we're starting there to protect our great law enforcement. And stand for what is right. Say what is true. Don't be afraid. Speak out. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Get up off the couch Put the popcorn and Diet Coke down and join us in our Justice League and get to work. And pre-order my book, Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. You can find it at Amazon.com, at Roku, at BarnesandNoble.com, at Books A Million, at Borders.com, all over the place. Read it, digest it, and let's discuss it, because we have a big job to do regardless of who wins the next election. God bless you. God bless your family. Thank you for listening to me. I will always tell you the truth as I see it. I don't pull punches. American people need to hear it from other sources than Fox News. God bless you.